All right. I'm back with another live stream. I'm about to do a review of three shows today. I'm a little behind, so I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up on AEW basically from the past week. I haven't done Ring of Honor, Collision, and then Dynamite last night. So I'm doing Ring of Honor from the 19th, Collision from the 21st, and Dynamite from the 25th. Yeah, I know it's gonna be a heavyweight show, but screw it. I want to do it. I know I'm skirting other responsibilities, but at the moment, I think I need to do this because, I've just been having a rough time mentally thinking about the world. I mean, the way my brain works is really kind of bad. I don't know how if it works like this for other people, but my mind is like constantly in this stream of consciousness, like just talking to myself continuously trying to figure things out, and it gets like exhausting. My brain is thinking about these ridiculous things about how to fix, the world and my life, and it just keeps going in circles and circles and circles, and it just never stops. And the only time it really stops is when I do these podcasts and live streams for wrestling. Because literally the whole time I'm doing this, I'm just talking about wrestling, and it's crazy. I could go like I have an hour and a half today before I gotta head out for work, but I could probably do this shit for at least 3 hours for these three shows, if I really wanted to expand on everything I wanted to say. So since I got a lot to talk about, I'm gonna pick up the pace and try to get through this as quickly as possible. So without further ado, let's get this started. I'm on June 19th of Ring of Honor on Honor Club. But you know what? Before I get to that, I do want to mention real quick um, there was a show that I didn't mention because I didn't even know that it happened. But before the last Dynamite that I reviewed, which was Grand Slam Mexico, they had a show in Mexico on the 17th, and I have some results here that I could show since we didn't watch it, and I think it was online on YouTube. But there was a few AEW and ROH, participants. This was a CMLL ROH AEW show. So I'll just go over who was there from AEW and Ring of Honor since I cover those companies. But it looks like the first match was Persephone against Red Velvet, the Ring of Honor TV champion. So Red Velvet, um, I don't know if she won. No, Persephone won. Okay, interesting. But at least Red Velvet's getting some work and some matches. That was a non-title match. Another one, I guess Crew. Looks like Crew got some work against the CMLL Tag Team Champions, and they lost. Okay. Hologram also getting some work here. He came in with Alex Abrahantes. I guess I never seen them together on the main show, but they faced off against someone named Neon, and the winner was Hologram. Okay. Josh Alexander, former TNA World Champion, against Atlantis Jr. And oh man, Josh Alexander can't even get a win against Atlantis Jr. Poor guy. Hasn't had a good run since he showed up in AEW, but I do respect his body of work. But anyways, um, Don Callis family. Okay, so they got some work too. It was Takeshita, Fletcher, Rocky Romero, and Hechicero, and they faced off against a bunch of CMLL guys and ended up losing. Okay. And then the last match of this evening was Bandito against Mascara Dorada for the Ring of Honor World Champion, and Bandito ended up retaining and keeping the title. Okay, so then after that, we went to Grand Slam Mexico, and then after that, we're going to Ring of Honor on Thursday. So this is a week old today. I guess there's going to be a new Ring of Honor later today, but I still haven't covered this on my channel, and I still have this goal of covering every single wrestling show that there is on American television. I don't want to miss one. So, let's see if anything happened that I find noteworthy or enjoyable. So, Ring of Honor on the June 19th episode. So, Here we go. We got Shane Taylor Promotions first match. It's Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor and Trish Adora is coming out with them, and they're facing off against two jobbers. All right, so the jobbers or the enhancement talent, whatever you want to call them, if you want to be nice, I think are probably the main attraction of the Ring of Honor shows on Honor Club. Like they're the one thing that you kind of you get some job matches on the main shows on Collision and Dynamite, but not as many. But there definitely are at least a couple local talents that you get to see on Ring of Honor. Today it's Anthony Gangone or Gangoni. I don't know how you pronounce it, but he's got a cool, crazy face, and he's got a little partner here, smaller than him, Sal Mistretta. I like how they look. They look cool to me. But all right, so I guess Gangoni started the match against Lee Johnson or Lee Moriarty, excuse me. Sorry to get that confused. But he's beating him down, and he's gonna tag out to Shane Taylor, and Gangoni's gonna get one elbow to the face before Moriarty tags out, which was like the only shot he got in. And then Shane Taylor's like, "Oh, he did not just do that." And so Shane Taylor's gonna come in and whoop on this guy Mistretta, I guess his name is, who's willing to go head to head against a guy way bigger than him. Socked in the face, got one shot in, and there he is selling the headbutt. See, that's what these enhancement talent I think are usually really good at, selling injuries. And to me, that's my favorite part of wrestling. You gotta act like it's real, man. You can't just go up there and act like you're this tough guy and get socked in the face and do nothing. Like, yeah, we know it's not real, but the art of it is pretending it's real. So anyways, this is the ending, the finish, as Gangoni tries to get in and help him, but he's going to get grabbed by Moriarty, put in a submission hold, and then I think Shane Taylor is going to finish off Mistretta with a sock to the face and a pinfall. And as always, Shane Taylor has to talk himself up because, he just needs to hype himself up. Got to give yourself confidence somehow, man. And I like Shane Taylor. He's going to have a match later on, I think, on Collision, later on in my review. But I very much am a fan. I like his personality, and, I think some people might say he's a little big or out of shape looking, not really athletic looking. But in terms of his character, his promo ability, and his work, basically, I think is good enough that I think he should be in contention for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I've always said this back when I was doing my blog reviews, but no one listens. No one listens to my show. God damn it. But otherwise, I'm moving on. Let's see. We got a replay. This was from a couple weeks ago when Athena was beating down some jobber after her victory over her, and I think who came out was Thunder Rosa. So this is going to be a running theme throughout my review today, is that these two are looking destined to face off for that Ring of Honor title, and they're kind of working with each other a lot in a lot of these tag matches that they're making. This doesn't come up later on this Ring of Honor show, but it will come up on Collision and Dynamite. So there you go. Next up, we got a Pure Rules match. All right, so this is for that upcoming tournament we got for the Women's Pure Championship. It's a new tournament, but Deonna Purrazzo is finally getting a chance, getting some work here. It's interesting. She's facing Marty Bell. I don't want to call her a jobber because she actually did really well in this match, but she's a local talent. She's not signed on to the company. Ring of Honor, Code of Honor adhered to in this match, although Deonna Purrazzo was extremely disrespectful. But I will get to that later. Definitely not a job match, not a squash match. Marty Bell, who I was impressed with, got a lot of shots in. And here's her getting thrown into the stairwell, the steel steps on the side of the ring. And she hurts her shoulder, which, again, the enhancement talent. So good at selling talent. Just sell. Act like you're hurt. Anyways, here's Deonna Purrazzo with her arrogant personality showing. And here's Marty Bell. I'll consider this probably one of the moments of the night on this Ring of Honor show that didn't have much, but she's going to psych herself up. Reminded me a little bit of Willow style, and try to get back into the match. Here she is with a roll up on Parazzo, and I think the real question here, since this is a pure rules match, is can Deonna Purrazzo wrestle? And I don't think we got really much of an answer to that. She struggles in this match to make it look as dominant as she probably would have wanted to, but there she is pulling the arm back. And again, Marty Bell selling that arm, which she'll do later on as she gets one last, I think, no, this is probably it. I thought she was gonna, there was one last attack that she got in, but I didn't cut it out of my highlights. But here's the final armbar, and she's not going to be able to reach the ropes, even for the first of 3 of her breaks. So pure rules match, didn't really matter. There were no rope breaks, and that's the end right there. And Purrazzo with the disrespectful kicking the dirt back on Marty Bell. But I like Marty Bell. I don't know if I was to be a scout. I think she could be a main roster girl. I don't see why not. She looks good. She works good. Bring her up. Sign her on, baby. All right. Move on to the next storyline. Replay. This is a replay of the frickin' Dark Order frat house feud, which I kind of glossed over last week on my watch along. But yeah, frat house had to kind of cheat to get the win over Dark Order. They have a mortal feud because Preston Vance used to be in Dark Order, betrayed them, started his own stable, and then John Silver made the big return last week, so he was been out for a while, and he came back. So here's Frat House. I'm not going to play their promo. I'm not playing any promos today. Got to save some time, but I'm just reviewing it. Anyways, here's a backstage promo from the Frat House. Jack Jameson is a little mad that John Silver in his promo last week kind of questioned his manhood. And Jack Jameson said, well, if you want to question my package, you need to ask your mom. So, I don't know. That was the one thing I got out of this promo, really. But yeah, it looks like they're headed towards a trios match with the Dark Order. So, that's that. I'm going to skip on to the next angle. Oh, I forgot. Of course, whether they win or lose, they booze. That's their gimmick. So, they're all good. Even if they lose, they're going to go out and party. Anyways, another match. It's Lance Archer. Lance Archer versus Aaron Solo, which, God, I don't really care about. So I'm just going to skip to the finish and show you that Lance Archer got the victory over Aaron Solo. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if that does anything for him. I don't think it does, really. I think he's been good and buried since the very beginning, and they've done nothing to resuscitate his reputation. All right, moving along. We got a replay of, what's her name? Yamashita, I think. And she had a Ring of Honor title match world title match against Athena, but she had a hard-fought match, but lost. And she is in the show tonight, so she is Miyu Yamashita. And she's getting a match against Brooke Havoc, another local talent, enhancement talent. I don't know what you want to call her. I know some people are offended by that term, jobber, but I think it's an endearing term. You're doing a good job. You got to make the other guy look good. But this exactly wasn't even a squash either. Brooke Havoc getting a shot in and showing some personality, but, you know, not enough, really. And here's the finish. It was a triple combo move, I think. Yamashita with a kick to the stomach right here. Boom. And then a kick to the face, and then another back kick. Boom, like that. I think that looked good. See? Brooke Havoc, another girl. Why not? Gotta make this like NXT, man. Grab up all the women. But Yamashita with the win. Moving along. The next storyline we got is Premier Athletes. So Premier Athletes, how do I explain this? Mark Sterling actually did something for once this week. Somehow he got that decision reversed. They lost a match where he interfered, and I guess he talked to somebody in charge. They didn't really explain it, but because he is not a wrestling talent and he got hit for no reason, he got that decision reversed. So Premier Athletes technically, they say, are undefeated this year, although they lost basically every match except one. that I can remember. But still, that puts him over, you know. At least he did something good. It's not like Stokely Hathaway, who did absolutely nothing, but somehow got rewarded with becoming FTR's manager. Storyline wise, at least this is something, I will say. Although I won't really give much credit to this promo for sounding good or entertaining or anything. Next, it's an 8-man tag. It's the GYV, the Grizzled Young Veterans, and they're teaming up today with the Infantry. So this is the second time Trish Adora has come out as a valet today. And they're facing Top Flight and the Kingdom, who used to be in the Undisputed Kingdom. Doesn't seem like they're really in the Paragon, but okay. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. 8-man tag, baby faces and heels. Let's see if I got any highlights. They had this spot here where uh, Mike Bennett would chop everybody on the other team, all 4 guys. So he would grab one guy, throw him into the corner, chop him, grab the next guy, throw him into the corner, chop him. I don't know if that's a good spot. It was a funny spot, maybe slightly memorable if I was there. They all sold for him. But here's Matt Taven with a dive on Ring of Honor, on Honor Club. There he goes outside of the ring. Woo! That looks good. Damn. And the Grizzled Young Veterans have to catch him. So there's a spot for the night. And there goes Carly Bravo, also getting thrown into the crowd. Some bumps, taking some hard bumps. I can appreciate that. In the end, it's Captain Sean Dean who takes the pin, it looks like, as Darius Martin gives him a suplex, and then Dante Martin with a high-flying move off the top rope, and that'll give the baby faces a win on this short episode of Ring of Honor on Honor Club. All right, so that's all that happened. Nothing too eventful. But I'm going to move along. I'm going on to Collision because I got Collision and Dynamite to get through today. See if I can pull this up real quick. Come on, phone. People don't got time for this. Don't you know the people are busy? My phone is lagging. Well, before I get to Collision, my Collision review, I will mention that there was one other CMLL show that had talent from AEW and Ring of Honor, in addition to New Japan and Rev Pro. This was called CMLL Fantastica Mania. So I'm just going to go through some results real quick, see if there was any involvement from our boys from AEW and Ring of Honor, since that's what we cover on our channel. And just real quick, let's see, Red Velvet was there. Defeated Kira. I don't know who that is. Thunder Rosa also got some work. She defeated La Jarochita. Jarochita. I don't know. I don't know how you pronounce that. But okay. Let's see. Looks like Leo Rush and Action Andretti from the Crew got some work also. They teamed up with Rocky Romero and someone I don't know to take on some luchadors from CMLL. And then Mercedes Moné was there defending her women's CMLL title against La Catalina, and she won, so she keeps that title. Other than that, looks like Neon defeated Kevin Knight, so Kevin Knight got some work, and then Ricochet also got some work, but he got a win over Volador Jr. And then Bandito and Hologram also picked up a win over Team Sky. But all right, that's just for completeness sake. I didn't watch that show. I don't know where to find it. I really didn't have time, and I don't think it was that fascinating of a lineup anyways to watch, but I'm sure it was very fun. I'm sure the people who were there had a good time. But regardless, I'm going to move on to the Collision review. All right. I got it ready to go. I got AEW Collision. We're on June 22nd now. Trying to get to AEW Dynamite, to my review of Dynamite, but you know what? This episode of Collision actually had some slightly significant things happen. So I didn't think it was a total waste of time. I'm going to go through what happened. So, real quickly, here's John Moxley coming in from the parking lot. Only Wheeler Yuta with him today, no Marina Shafir. And he's having a singles match to open the show today, and it's AR Fox. AR Fox actually put in a really good showing on this episode. It wasn't a job match at all. It was pretty competitive. He got some shots in. There's a biting spot. I always put in the cheating spots. I think that's technically cheating. 5 seconds of biting. But Moxley showing his, you know, wicked side, showing that he still goes to that dark place if he needs to, even on a jobber like AR Fox. Excuse me, I shouldn't say jobber. He actually, after this match, it looks like he's headed in the right direction, I will say. Here's a move, a DDT on Jon Moxley, and actually, woo, I'll rewind that a little bit. Here's a reverse dive off the post onto Jon Moxley. Moxley catches him well. Safely done move. Good job, good job. All right, here's some interference. Here's Wheeler Yuta as AR Fox is going to the top rope. And that leads to Moxley getting the advantage. Again, more biting from Moxley. What else? Here's AR Fox showing some heart, actually. He's telling Moxley, go ahead and hit me. Just standing there and taking kicks to the face. This is why a lot of people said this match maybe did something for AR Fox's character. If they could be consistent and give him a run, you know what I mean? So he looked pretty good here. Even in a loss, he didn't look bad against the AEW World Champion. So here's a kick to the side of the head. Kind of forward through that one a little too fast. Here's a dive over the top rope. Oh shit! All right, so there's AR Fox getting some offense in and giving a kick to Wheeler Yuta on the outside for good measure. Nice, not bad. All right, let's see what he's got. Looks like a diamond cutter. And I think that was probably the last he got in. Clothesline from Moxley. Pile driver. So decent. Not a bad showing. I like that for AR Fox. I think should be getting a more prominent role based on the work he's done. So I like that they gave him something. They should give him some wins now. We'll see though. But there he is choked out. For an opening match, I'll give that a half thumbs up. Not bad. Cut a promo after the match on Hangman. On Hangman wasting his talent and everything, and they're getting ready to go head to head on All In. We're a few weeks away. But alright, moving along. Let's see what else we got. Paragon. Looks like they're in an 8-man tag tonight against FTR and some members of Don Callis' family. It's Paragon and Bandito and Daniel Garcia. So I'm not playing this promo though. That's a match coming up later. We got Takeshita, and he's teaming with Kyle Fletcher. All right, so these two guys are now known as Proto Shida, which makes me think that they're going to be like a tag team that is going to go for the tag team titles, because why else would they become a tag team if they're not going to try to go for the tag team titles? So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about the name. Just a mashing of their two names, I guess. I don't find it that creative. And they're teaming with FTR, it looks like. They're facing. This is the match. This was the promo that they just cut. Now there's Daniel Garcia doing the dance. So it's Bandito, Daniel Garcia, and Adam Cole and Roderick Strong from the Paragon. All right, let's see if we got anything from this match. We got Bandito with a top rope spot, twisting and turning onto Dax Harwood. We got Kyle Fletcher facing off against Adam Cole. So this is a spot that I thought was interesting because I think these two could end up in a TNT title match together. I think that's a match that makes sense, and they seem to be able to work well together. So that was a decent spot, I thought. What else? This looks like the ending. It looks like Roderick Strong is going to take a kick to the face and then a shatter machine from FTR, and that'll be the end for this night. So the heels get a win on this one. Stokely Hathaway's there to talk up his guys. And there we go. All right. Something that happened. Oh, it's an afterbirth. There's an afterbirth. I forgot about this. So they continue the attack on Paragon and Bandito and Daniel Garcia, and the guy that's going to come save them, or the guys, excuse me, are the Outrunners. So this is going to lead to a little thing between the Outrunners and FTR, which makes sense considering they're both from the 80s. And to people who say, like Jim Cornette, who says, how the hell are the Outrunners supposed to be from the 80s? Dude, they look like they're straight out of a fucking 80s music video. I don't care what anybody says. They are the perfect team, like cosplay team of just quote unquote generic 80s wrestlers. So if that's their gimmick, they do that gimmick freaking well, in my opinion. So did I like that match? Not really. I'm gonna give that an indifferent. Moving along, we got a backstage promo from four girls who are gonna be in an 8-man tag tonight. Ty Mello, Anna Jay, and looks like Queen Aminata and Thunder Rosa, and they're facing off against four heel girls. There are certain matchups that make sense here. Athena's on the other side, so she's feuding with Thunder Rosa. And then Penelope and Megan Bayne are also on the other side. They're feuding with Anna Jay and Ty Mello. And it looks like Tekla's even on the other side too for the heels. So Queen Aminata's had a thing with her. So not a complete random 8-man tag. They jump to the other girls too so that they can cut promos. Athena, pretty arrogant sounding, belittling her teammates, and Megan Bayne was going to step up to her, but Penelope stopped her, so interestingness. Here's a promo from Mercedes Moné recorded at Grand Slam Mexico, so on Wednesday. She stayed back in Mexico because she has more title defenses, so she didn't come on this Collision show today, because she won that CMLL title, the women's title. So she stayed back to, I think, defend it against La Catalina, if I'm not mistaken. We might get to that later. Regardless, let's jump forward. Here's Prince Nana, hawking his coffee as always, and introducing Swerve Strickland, doing the dance. Love that dance. But yeah, let's see what Swerve is doing here today. If I'm not mistaken, he's facing Shane Taylor. Yes, it's Shane Taylor from Shane Taylor Promotions, who we just saw in a tag match a couple nights before on Ring of Honor on Honor Club. He's getting a chance here in a big match. Kind of too difficult a match for Shane Taylor, in my opinion. I kind of want him to face guys like maybe Bandito and win that Ring of Honor title. I don't see him beating Strickland here, struggling on the outside with his guys, trying to figure something out. But oh, this was the nice spot. This was actually really fucking, I've never seen this spot. But the infantry from Shane Taylor Promotions and Prince Nana actually put a bottle down and start betting on the match about who's going to win. So Carly Bravo and Sean Dean are there, and they're betting with Prince Nana, and they actually get Tony Schiavone in on the bet. They never opened the bottle, though, but still, funny little spot. You see, I don't think this show was a waste of time. Spots like this warm my heart. This was pretty freaking funny to me. I've never seen it. So there's all this money there lying around, supposed to go to the winner of the bet. I think what happens is, well, there's a suplex from Swerve onto Shane Taylor from the top rope. That's impressive, I gotta say. But what happens is, if you can see on the bottom of the screen over here, Prince Nana, for some reason, just starts taking the money. Took all the money. And the infantry are like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? So they grab Prince Nana and Swerve with a dive over the top rope onto the infantry to save his guy. Nice dive, nice backflip. And then into the ring and a kick to the face. And Shane Taylor's going to sell that really well. Like him as a wrestler, man. I really love him as a worker. Whatever you want to say about his physique, I think he just does really well in the ring. But that's a win for Swerve, and they want a bunch of money too, I guess. Funny little segment, funny little angle. I like that. I'll give that a thumbs up, actually. I like that a lot. I'll give that 2 thumbs up. I'll be lenient today on some AEW stuff. I liked it a lot. All right, let's see what we got. We got a replay. This is another sniffing spot. That's Tony Storm standing behind Mercedes at Grand Slam Mexico, and getting a little shot in on her as she came from behind, sniffed her, beat her up a little bit. Full moon showing from Mercedes over there. But anyways, yes, this is something that Mercedes is going to want to get back at Tony Storm for. and that will come up later as we review Dynamite. But on Collision here, Toni Storm got to cut a promo. Really good promo, as always, very dramatic. She's wearing a cool outfit. I don't know what that is exactly. I don't know how to describe it. A red overcoat and a red hat. And, she was telling Mercedes, because she's just a belt collector and wants to collect all these titles. And she said, "Is that all I am to you? Just another belt?" And she goes, "I am not that motherfucker." And on my feed, they didn't censor it. So you got an F word from Toni Storm today. Nice. The crowd went crazy for that. And she got real intense, and it was a very good promo. I liked it a lot. Again, I'll give her promo 2 thumbs up. She memorized it really well, performed it really well. It was entertaining. What more can you ask for? Moving along, Hologram. Hologram's here, and this is a 6-man tag. Oh, I think they introduced Hologram as the newest member of the conglomeration. Well, I had been wondering where they were. No Orange Cassidy lately. Rocky Romero just deserted to another stable. But Willow's still here, and Mark Briscoe's still here, and apparently now Hologram's in their side. So, and they're having a 6-man tag tonight against MXM Collection with Taya Valkyrie, who has her boyfriend with her, Johnny TV. And yeah, it looks like they're a legit couple because they're always making out. I can't imagine them wanting to do that if they weren't a couple. But regardless, let's see if this has any spots. Here's Hologram taking a slam on the outside. It's a tough bump. That's a tough bump. Here's Taya Valkyrie feeling herself after that for her side. This is what happens when you got not much to do, on the show. When you get on the show, you try to kind of overcompensate. But all right, here's an interference spot. It's Johnny TV. He grabs Mark Briscoe, and that gives Mansoor an advantage. Not a very big advantage. They don't win the match. Here's Taya Valkyrie doing a move onto Hologram. So some female on male violence, a Hurricane Rana. Nice move from Taya. She can work. But that brings Willow in the ring. And Willow's going to take care of her with a slam of her own. All right, let's see. We got Hologram here with his finishing move, I believe. It's this twisty, spinny one where he just spins this guy a bunch of times and then drops him down for a slam on his back. It's a pretty good move. I like it. It wasn't the finisher, though. Here's a top rope dive by Hologram and through the ropes for Mark Briscoe as MXM have to catch them. Actually, Johnny TV did some work there, too. And here's the elbow drop from Mark Briscoe onto Mansoor for the win for the babyfaces. I can't give that match too much credit because MXM Collection is involved. Interesting that Hologram is in the conglomeration now, though. I can't wait to see the t-shirts. Good, good, good. What else we got? We got coming up next. Statlander, who is watching Willow, and she has been pissed off since Willow didn't accept her apology. Statlander tried to turn babyface and give Willow an apology for all the bad things she did, but Willow turned her down flat. But she has been getting overtures from the Death Riders, namely Wheeler Yuta, who they used to be stablemates and the best friends. And Wheeler Yuta has been trying to get at her to maybe convince her to join the stable and make them stronger and bigger. She hasn't been about it, but here comes Wheeler Yuta again. And Statlander doesn't want to hear it. She tells him, literally, don't say another word. Don't say another word. And he does. And as soon as he says one word, she's going to freaking push him into a guardrail over there. I don't know why there's a guardrail over there. But then she bumps, this very interesting scene, she bumps into Jon Moxley. And Moxley actually had some aura here, believe it or not. Statlander sold it really well, and Moxley picked up her cell phone and gave her some philosophical advice, telling her don't let anyone, tell you what you're worth, and gives it to her. And Statlander's kind of in awestruck of Jon Moxley. So I thought that was good, and I kind of want her to join the Death Riders. I think it makes sense with Willow being a Death Riders enemy that she should be on the opposite side, and I think it's going to happen. From the hints I'm getting, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. All right, moving along. Don Callis family's here. Don Callis is here to speak. He's with Josh Alexander and Lance Archer, and he introduces Okada as his newest member of his stable. So Okada leaving the Elite for Don Callis family, which makes sense because, well, I wouldn't say it makes much more sense than being in the Elite and facing Kenny Omega because Kenny Omega was also in the Elite with the Young Bucks. So there's history on both sides. But yeah, Don Callis wants to make sure Omega doesn't win that match at All In for the unified title, which is another story. Don't get me started on that. The fact that they call the international and continental title unification just the unified title. But okay, I thought they were going to call it the International Continental Championship, which would have been really long, but I think it still would have been better than the unified champion. But regardless, here comes Okada to shake Don Callis' hand, and they show a replay of Okada elbowing Omega in the stomach, which I thought was a bold, daring angle. I mean, you may say what you want about Kenny Omega, but who else is doing stuff like this, spitting up blood? So they were bragging about what they did to Kenny Omega, and making fun of Omega that Omega doesn't have any friends. And as far as I can remember, yeah, Mark Briscoe comes out, and he's the one who actually defended Omega afterwards. And he's like, yes, I am his friend, and there's another one of his friends. So here's a return after a long time being out injured. It's Kota Ibushi, who used to be Omega's tag team partner in Japan. They were what were they? The Golden Lovers. Yeah, amazing name. I actually really liked how it came out too, because they're gonna go at Don Callis family here. Mark Briscoe is gonna get at Lance Archer, and Ibushi is just gonna walk to the ring like he's the Terminator, just stone cold face, walking in, no fear whatsoever, and he gets into it with Josh Alexander. Had a nice exchange with him. Really like this. I can't believe that Ibushi's back from two fucked up knees so quickly and so well. He needs to be careful. But yeah, he gets Josh Alexander out of the ring. Okada's in there now, and they have an exchange too. They just start brawling. Two guys from Japan. Okada gets an uppercut in. But Ibushi's going to get a combination that sends Okada running, and Don Callis is going to escape and retreat with him. So Omega's got some backup. Omega's not here tonight, but he's got Mark Briscoe and Kota Ibushi, which makes me think, because it seems to me like they're kind of setting it up in a way that international and continental title match is going to have a lot of interference and stuff, like Don Callis is going to try to help Okada, but as far as the stipulation for the Continental Championship, that they can't have interference or anybody at ringside, I don't really understand how that's going to work. It's going to be a big scandal to me, because to me it's been the coolest, purest thing on AEW that no one has interfered in an international title match. And if it happens at All In, I hope they make it as a big a deal as it should be, because that's the one thing these wrestlers have respected, and somebody should come out and stop it, really. The owner himself, really, Tony Khan. If he doesn't stop it, then he would be buried, unless they change the rules for that night. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how that goes. Moving along. We got the Workhorsemen are back. JD Drake and Anthony Henry, they stepped up to the learning tree, because they just are back and they want to get into that tag title picture. They were brawling backstage, I think, and it, bled into the ring, and Anthony Henry here is going to take a choke slam onto some steel chairs. But, Drake and Henry, they were big in Ring of Honor. Not really big, but they had that angle going where Anthony Henry's cousin Beef was trying to join the show, and he was annoying, but they kind of just dropped that. And now these guys are back. I don't know, I haven't seen them in a while. JD Drake, I almost forgot his name. This guy over here. I was like, what the heck is his name? Because there's another Jay Drake now in wrestling, Jackson Drake, the Evolve men's champion on the WWE Evolve brand, but this is JD Drake. I don't know. I guess they're using him to job somehow to learning tree, get them over somebody. But regardless, here comes Christian, because I guess he was supposed to come out and talk, and he's mad that these guys took their airtime with their brawl that led into the ring. And he kind of makes an announcement that he and his son Nick Wayne want to go for the tag team titles, right? The world tag team titles as well, and enter the scene. And this is gonna interfere with the learning tree because the learning tree have been trying to put themselves over and get another tag team title shot as well. And Big Bill actually cut a good promo here on Christian and Nick Wayne, saying Nick Wayne, knowing his mom, Christian might not be his dad. His dad might be anyone in the audience or literally anybody, which was a pretty good burn. Pretty good burn. They all had to take it, but Christian had a retort. He came back at Big Bill saying, you know, making fun of his alcoholism. Are you drunk saying that or what? So this looks like it's going to be a thing that they've introduced for the tag team division. Moving along, Anthony Bowens. He's upset with his mentor and manager, Billy Gunn, saying he hasn't gotten any wins. He hasn't helped him pick up any wins. I guess the last time Billy Gunn was his valet, Lance Archer threw him into the guardrail, and Anthony Bowens couldn't pick up a win. And Billy Gunn's like, I was incapacitated. What do you want me to do? And Bowens is just getting frustrated. He wants to climb the ranking. So that's all we get there. I don't know if it means it's going to be a breakup or a change of mindset or something. I guess we'll see. Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight are jet speed. So they're in a match here with Ricochet on commentary against the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan, Toa Leona. Oh, I'm forwarding too fast. Hold on. I got some highlights here. Let's see. I think this is a top rope dive, over the top rope dive for jet speed as Knight and Bailey fly over the top rope for the audience's delight. But gosh, these are tough. Every time I see them in slow motion, I'm just like scared for these guys. One wrong step and it could be out for months or something. Here's again Mike Bailey off the middle rope. Whoa, that was a nice move. Dive onto the outside. And here's Kevin Knight's finishing maneuver. It's a top rope splash, but diagonally from the side. And it looks really good. Boom. So that's going to be a win for Jet Speed. Very strong win. It looks like they've been setting them up to face Lashley and Benjamin for those World Tag Team titles, because at Grand Slam Mexico, Knight and Bailey attacked the Hurt Syndicate and got one over on them, interestingly. Moving along, Tekla. This is that 8-woman tag that they teased earlier. So Tekla, interesting that in her intro they flipped the camera upside down since she's like a spider. What's her nickname? The Toxic Spider. She's got a great look. Great look. Penelope also got a great look. All these girls with their cosplaying, spot on. On point. Megan Bayne is there. Athena's here. She's the last member of this heel team with Billy Starks, interestingly, because they were kind of giving Billy Starks a run on her own, and it just stopped. So looks like she's back to being a minion. I don't know how I feel about that. Ty Mello and Anna Jay, excuse me, I got distracted there. But they're teaming with Queen Aminata and Thunder Rosa. So we got some spots here in this Collision main event. Here's Athena and Rosa, which I mentioned earlier is going to be a running theme, probably leading towards a world title match for the Ring of Honor brand. But we'll get more of that later on. Here's a double dive off the top rope from Penelope and Queen Aminata. Penelope does hers backflip and Aminata forward flip. Yep, that's what AEW is all about, baby. Got them dives going. Dive over the top rope. Here's a double suplex spot where Athena and Megan Bayne are showing their strength, suplexing two people at the same time. The camera didn't really get a good shot of that, but that was cool, I thought. Megan Bayne and Athena, although they're on the same team, kind of squabbled a little bit of butting heads. But really, the story of this is probably Thunder Rosa and Athena, which is probably going to come back tomorrow night when I review Dynamite in a few minutes. But yes, there's a preview of them facing off. And Tekla, I guess she does that Bray Wyatt thing. She's a spider, so she can walk like creepy, walking on her hands backwards. Interesting, interesting. Thunder Rosa and Athena again. But this is going to be the end of the match. Here's the finish as Billy Starks is on the top rope. It'll be hard to see, but it was Red Velvet who came out of nowhere and slipped Athena her Ring of Honor World Title belt, and then she nailed Thunder Rosa with it and picked up the win. So here's the Red Velvet. They will be teaming up on Thursday at Ring of Honor Global Wars. So I guess because they have that alliance, Red Velvet helped her out. So a win for the heels here to end the show. And that's my review of Collision. I kind of like that match. I'll give it a half thumbs up. I like the Athena stuff with Thunder Rosa. I like the over-the-top rope dives. What do you want me to say? I'm an over-the-top rope dive kind of guy. Keep diving over the top rope. I'll still be buying tickets and give you guys money. All right. Moving along. I'm going to move on to AEW Dynamite. Give me one moment. All right. I'm on to my review of AEW Dynamite. I got it loaded up. I got some clips, some images for y'all. Keep y'all entertained. I don't want you to just look at my face. I know it's super handsome and everything, but you know, it's more interesting to watch images from the show. I wish more podcasts would do this, but sometimes it's just a lot of work. But I've done that work and I've prepared it for you to have something nice to look at. So we're on to the 25th of June, 2025, AEW Dynamite. This is last night as I'm recording this, and it opens with Toni Storm walking to the ring as she prepares for her match with Mercedes Moné, and she's gonna get jumped right off the bat. Mercedes pushes Luther into Toni Storm. I like this. I would go so far as to say I love this. I love this opening to this show. This is two really outstanding characters that they got going. The two best they got, and they're looking so good. Mercedes especially got a really cool outfit on. She's looking spot on point, man. And she's beating Toni Storm's ass, dragging her into the arena, onto the main stage, and she grabs the mic, hits the guy who gave her the mic. He didn't even try to stop her. He just gave her the mic. And Mercedes tells off Toni Storm saying, "You want to make me look stupid? You know, so here's what you get." And she got her revenge. Mighty angrily. So this has been great. You know, in addition to the sniffing spots where they smell each other, which I think was really unique for this feud. And then a standard, you know, just a backstage attack. I am digging this. I love this scene. I'm giving this 3 points on my rating scale, but Mina Shirakawa comes out to, you know, defend Toni Storm, and Mercedes is going to back off at this point, although she feels very, very much proud of herself. Moving on to the next angle, we got the Young Bucks are backstage, and they're trying to flex some EVP power, Executive Vice President power. They're boasting about being the founding fathers and say that they have moved Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland's tag team match up from tonight to right now. So they have to just run out and do it, trying to fuck with them. It took a little time. I'm cutting some scenes out here. It took like a minute or something, maybe less, but Will Ospreay's running in with his sweats and just puts his elbow pad on as he's running to the ring, and he's ready to go. And Swerve actually conveniently is also in gear too, and they're facing off against Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. So here's a over the top rope spot for Ospreay, and it's going to lead to Matthew and Nicholas Jackson heading out to the entrance ramp to watch the match. So they're just going to sit on chairs and watch it. But as far as the match goes, this was not really competitive. It's a kick to the head for Blake Christian, and Swerve Strickland gets the pinfall. And they want to get at the Young Bucks. They're like, let's go get at them. So as soon as they try to get up that entrance ramp, security floods the ringside area, and Swerve Strickland grabs the mic, cuts a promo, challenges the Young Bucks to a match at All In. All right, makes sense. And another thing that happened was Will Ospreay challenged the Young Bucks to put up their EVP statuses in the match, and that makes the Young Bucks go crazy. Like, what the fuck? We ain't doing that shit. And right as they're complaining about it, Swerve with the over-the-top rope dive onto everybody, including a referee and officials. So they might get in trouble for that later on in the show. We'll get to that. But it was a good spot still. And then they chase the Young Bucks to the back as you see them running like scared little cowards. But alright, I didn't really dig the match too much, but the Afterbirth, I'll give the Afterbirth a thumbs up. The idea of the EVPs or the Young Bucks putting up their EVP statuses, even if it's just kayfabe, is not a bad one, I think. So I'm on board with that. It relates to everything that's going on. They've been feuding for a while. That would be a good blow off or something. So I'll give that a thumbs up. The idea of that. As the referee, as you see the referee who took that top rope dive from Swerve Strickland is down. But we'll get back to that later. Here's a video package reminding people about Ibushi and Omega being friends in Japan and reviewing Ibushi's return this past Saturday, which I just reviewed. But yeah, Ibushi is facing up against Trent Beretta later tonight. So Ibushi's having his first match back against someone in the Don Callis family. Backstage, this is the Young Bucks. So yes, they do suspend Swerve for the night. And Okada's going to come in, which was interesting to me. I was like, well, what the fuck? He just left the Elite and went to Don Callis family. He's like, hey, meet my new family. And the Don Callis family come in. They're like, hey, you know, we get to be allies now, right? And the Young Bucks are like, well, not quite, you know. We still don't like your guy, Don Callis. So, little tension. Although Trent Beretta says, I'll take care of Ibushi tonight. So they all high five, and then there's a tense moment with Takeshita and Okada. So Takeshita isn't so fond of this alliance either. Takeshita tells Okada this is only temporary, and Okada doesn't care. He just no-sells it, dismisses him, as Takeshita looks pissed. He just doesn't like him. So that's a preview of things to come, I guess, which would be a pretty solid match. Probably Takeshita should go over. In Okada's older years, he could stand to put a young guy over like this who deserves it. But Kota Ibushi, all right, so he's coming out for a match. He's facing Roppongi Vice's Trent Beretta, who was also representing the Don Callis family. I guess they got a new backdrop for their big screen presentation. But let's see if we got any highlights from today's match here of Ibushi. We got a kick to the face and another kick to the face, and it looks like that was the finish. I don't have any highlights on that one, just the finish. Ibushi wins. But here comes Okada. All right, so post-match, a little afterbirth. Okada comes in, face-to-face with Ibushi, fellow Japanese, New Japan guy. They face off, and I don't think, little nose-to-nose, but they're not going to get physically involved today. Okada's going to back off. So that's that. We'll see what that leads to with the big Kenny Omega match and how that pans out. Overall, though, kind of indifferent to that whole segment with that match and the afterbirth. Nothing much to see there. Moving on, I think Jon Moxley's in a stairwell cutting a promo on Hangman Page. You know, in that Moxley kind of way. Probably talking about Hangman being wasteful of his talents and proclaiming that he's going to win. I don't remember particularly what he said. I have too many shows to watch here, so they're not all fresh on my mind, really. But I don't consider it that memorable. But speaking of Moxley, he kind of put AR Fox over in a way. Didn't let him win, but let him get some good shots in. And Renee is here interviewing AR Fox, saying, hey, you got some momentum, it looks like. What do you think? Can this go anywhere? And before AR Fox can talk, Ricochet comes in and talks about how he's been trying to build a stable. He's like, you'd be perfect for my stable. What do you think? And AR Fox thinks about it This is interesting how they did this. Kind of clunky, but AR Fox is like, let me think about that. He puts his hand out, thinking about it, and Ricochet just grabs his hand. He's like, yep, I knew you'd say yes. Thank you. Cool. So I guess he's got to do it now, huh? Anyways, they're going to team up together later, but they're going to have issues, as you will see. Actually, the match is right now. Here's Ricochet, and he's teaming with AR Fox, who's like, well, you kind of sprung that on me, but you want to team up? Fine, let's fucking do it, man. Let's go. So he's on board for the moment, and they're facing against Jet Speed, who has been up Ricochet's craw, and they need tag team partners. Ricochet does, sorry, for this feud, but he's not really teaming that well with AR Fox here. Before the match starts, they're already arguing, and there's going to be more spots. Here's a top rope, not top rope dive, but off the ring apron, dive AR Fox onto Mike Bailey. Taking account of all the dives these days. But yeah, here's Ricochet. So he's trying to tell AR Fox a move to do, and AR Fox won't listen to him. So they kind of get into a shoving match over it. And it leads to Ricochet going for a shot at Kevin Knight, and then, him ducking it and kicking AR Fox in the face. So they're very disjointed, Ricochet and AR Fox are. So, and then this is where Ricochet bails out. He's like, fuck this. Leaves AR Fox by himself to take Kevin Knight's big top rope splash, which is very impressive looking athletically. And that's a win for Jet Speed on their way to hopefully getting a World Tag Team title shot. And AR Fox, there he is, looking all dejected. How about all that momentum he got from facing Moxley? Funny, huh? What a waste. Regardless, Jet Speed are going to get interviewed on the entrance ramp by Tony Schiavone, and they are going to mention how they're going to try to get those tag team titles off of the Hurt Syndicate, which brings out the Hurt Syndicate. So the Hurt Syndicate attack them from behind, driving off Tony Schiavone. MJF is going to show up too, very happy, although he lost to Mystico 3 nights earlier, so how happy can you be? But there's Mike Bailey taking a suplex on the outside. On the floor, on concrete, on padding, but yeah, on concrete. And that's going to be it for Jet Speed. They're going to get slammed through a table. Sorry, that was not it. They got fucked up. So, Hurt Syndicate going to go to the ring and cut a promo. MVP says, hey, if they survive that, they can get a tag team title shot if they want. So that's going to happen, though. MJF also mentions that he's entering that Casino Gauntlet. He's going to have a qualifier to enter that Casino Gauntlet match and try to get a title shot. So, all right, finally, MJF back in the title mix. We'll see. That's where they slotted him at All In. And Mark Briscoe comes out, who is kind of going to first mention that he's just tired of hearing MJF talk, but he is also involved in this Casino Gauntlet thing, too. So, they start talking shit about each other. They got some good jabs at each other. And MJF said to Mark Briscoe that he should go back to his farm and clean up chicken shit. And Mark Briscoe said something to the effect of MJF acts this way because he has a small penis, which set off MJF. But MVP holds him back, and they don't do anything on this night. So MVP's like, yep, go ahead. He clears the path for Mark Briscoe to head to the ring. I guess they'll take care of that later. So Mark Briscoe's in a match here. It's a 4-way with Takeshita, Roderick Strong, and Bandito. The winner is the first entrant into the Casino Gauntlet, which seems like a detriment, being the first guy in, because then you have to fight all these guys. But it's kind of not the way they put it, because the match could end at any time. So you want to be first in just so you are guaranteed a spot in the match. So that's kind of a weird match to have. I never really enjoyed this idea for this match. But regardless, I'll see some highlights if there are any. Bandito, Roderick Strong, Takeshita. Here's Mark Briscoe with a dive off the ring apron onto Bandito. Nice little spot. And I think this is the ending, is Roderick Strong gives Bandito a move. He leaves him open to getting elbow dropped by Mark Briscoe, and Mark Briscoe earns the first entry into the Casino Gauntlet. All right, so he's in. And they're the Hurt Syndicate. Or I have thought that they would kind of try to ruin this match for him or attack him after the match, but they're just watching on a TV in the back. So that's that. Adam Cole. Adam Cole's talking. I don't quite care what he's saying. Doesn't matter to me. I gotta move on from that. Chris Statlander. I'm sorry, I don't remember what he said. If I don't remember, I guess it wasn't memorable. I'm doing this all from memory here today, guys. But I didn't write anything down. I didn't write any notes. Sometimes I write notes down, but today I'm just doing this from memory. Chris Statlander's coming to the ring. She's also in a four-way. I rather like her new gimmick. She's got a new ring attire, new Titantron video and everything. So she's coming out. There's Athena again with Billy Starks. I guess they're back together again as after Billy Starks' singles run maybe didn't work out or something. But yeah, Willow. So Willow's in this match too. Statlander and Willow renewing their rivalry for history. And Thunder Rosa. So it's a four-way match. Also for the first entry into the Casino Gauntlet for the women's side. So Athena thought that because Statlander's a heel, they could kind of be aligned. But no, Statlander was not down with that. Throws Athena into a Willow Nightingale kick. And the match is on. All right, here's some highlights. Athena. Damn, I would not want to be Athena catching Willow Nightingale right there. But okay. Here's Athena breaking up a pinfall, saving Statlander, but also throwing her ass out of the ring. So there's the first moment where they renew their rivalry a little bit. And then here's some more Thunder Rosa and Athena. So I mentioned this on Collision, that it's going to be a running theme as they head towards their world title showdown for Ring of Honor. But here's a suplex from Athena onto Thunder Rosa on the outside. And as Billy Starks is looking on, horrified at this violence, at the sheer humanity of it. But here's the first interference, I guess. I think someone's going to come out. It's Marina Shafir, who's been feuding with Willow Nightingale, and also part of the Death Riders who have been trying to recruit Chris Statlander. So out here for two reasons, maybe. And Wheeler Yuta's with her. So from behind, Wheeler tries to attack Willow. Wheeler's not beneath hitting a woman, I guess. That's funny. But he doesn't do it. He misses. And he's going to take a slam, or a pounce, from Willow, excuse me. And this gives Statlander a chance to give the Tombstone pile driver to Willow and win the match. So Statlander is in, and she gives the Death Riders kind of a interesting look at the end that maybe she's thinking about it. Maybe Marina and Wheeler have been getting to her a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, moving along, they give a replay a little bit of Christian stepping up to the Learning Tree, and that being a new tag team rivalry. So that's coming up on Collision, which is tonight as I speak. Man, that's why I had to catch up on AEW, man. It was desperation, because there's so many freaking AEW shows if I fall too far behind. So I kind of forced it in this morning to catch up on all my AEW stuff. Regardless, moving on, here's a replay of the Outrunners saving Bandito from a post-match beatdown at the hands of FTR. And this led to like a little thing between FTR and the Outrunners. So it's a good match in theory. Got stablemates, not stablemates, but you know, two stables who remind everyone of the 80s. Seems like a match made in heaven. But FTR are going to cut a promo on it. Actually, not FTR, Stokely. So he doesn't let the other guys talk today, so I'm not going to listen to Stokely, but they're headed towards a feud with the Outrunners. I'm fine with that. Hangman Page is coming out for a match against the Beast Mortos ahead of his world title match. I never really noticed that his new entrance theme had a video up of him just sitting in front of Swerve's house as he burned it down. That's pretty hilarious. But here comes Mercedes Moné's Squeeze, the Beast Mortos. He's going to put in a decent showing tonight. Hangman with the backflip, the famous backflip that he does off the top rope onto the floor. Totally missed, no one home. And Beast Mortos with a twisting dive through the middle rope. That's his thing. He does it really well. But in the end, buckshot lariat, and this is going to be a win for Hangman Page. So a win, a nice warm up on his way to the world title match. And that was the main event. That was the main event of Dynamite. It was Hangman Page versus the Beast Mortos, which I'm kind of indifferent about. It was a decent match, but nothing too eventful, nothing to write home about, no interference, nothing like that. All right, I'm late. I gotta take a shower and head off to work. I also parked my car like a mile away because there was no parking, so I gotta walk to my car before I head to work. But that'll be it for this review. I did 3 reviews today. On the next episode, I'm gonna do, I think, 2 reviews. I'm planning on doing SmackDown from last Friday and Raw from this past Monday, which I haven't seen either one of yet, but I'll try to get to that tonight or tomorrow. All right, well, I hope you have a good day, and, good luck to you, whatever you're doing. We'll see you later.